Howdy, everybody. My name's Mr. Slomka, and welcome to geometry class. I got a little bit of information down there at the bottom of the screen if you are in need. That's my email address and my room number if you want to come talk to me. A little bit about me. My name's Ryan. I graduated from Michigan State University with a bachelor's degree in mathematics and a master's degree in curriculum design. I teach geometry. A whole lot of it is my passion here at Stony Creek High School, but I also get to teach philosophy and sociology, and those are my spicy variety classes. So I like those a whole bunch as well. Down here across the bottom of the page, you can see that I really love to spend some time with my family. And on the left side there's my daughter Sophie, and she and I got to go rock climbing this summer, and she made a lot of progress, which was amazing. She rang that bell. Then next to that, you see my younger son, Shepard. He and I were having a water balloon fight. Down there in the middle, you can see that we are skiing at Pine Knob. That's one of the Slomka family's big passions as well. We love going skiing together. That makes a lot of sense because I'm the ski and snowboard coordinator for Stony Creek High School. That is the club that is for fun. So if you want to go skiing or snowboarding, or if you want to learn how to ski or snowboarding, that's one of the very best ways to do it. And then down there on the very far right there, you can see one of the things that I hate the most, which is drywall work. I love fixing things, but I hate putting drywall up. I was remodeling a bathroom over the summer, and so that was drywall day right there. As far as geometry is concerned, like I said, geometry is one of my passions when I'm at work. It's something that I care a lot about. And one of the reasons why I care so much about geometry is because it's different. Sometimes people kind of treat geometry like it's a secondary type of course, Algebra 1 being important, Algebra 2 is important, pre-calculus is important, calculus is important, but geometry sometimes gets overlooked. But geometry is extremely important, and I really love it because it is different. It means a couple of different things for me. In geometry, we learn about a lot of different types of concepts. And so if you've got a student that didn't really like their previous math classes, they don't enjoy the middle school math or the freshman year classes that they took, then geometry is going to be different. And that means that it could be a lot better. And so this might be your student's favorite math class. I hear that quite often. Also, if you've got a student that loves math, then some of those skills that they've been working with, they're going to get to spend some time with as well. We got to make sure we keep those algebra skills up because students will be going back to Algebra 2 next year. And so we're not going to completely abandon algebra in any way. And this is a whole brand new branch of mathematics to learn to love as well. One of the things that makes geometry a bit different is that we spend so much time with logic. And that means we do a lot of writing and not so much time calculating. And so the homework is going to look different. The way that you think about the math problems is going to look different as well. There are plenty of times in class and outside of class where I will give every student the question, but I will also give them the final answer. And that's because I really don't care about what the final answer is in geometry class. Everybody's going to get the same answer. What I care about is the process. How do you get from one to the other? That's the most important part. That shows me how your logic is flowing and how your thought process is working. And those are the things that we're really, really after. When we're thinking about those logical pieces, there's lots of different ways you can think about it. But the major technique that we use is we use a technique called proof. And so we're going to be writing some of those proofs in the first semester of geometry, and we're going to be spending time talking about logic. And then second semester is going to be a little bit different, and it's going to have some more formulas, and we're going to also discuss some other types of mathematical topics like trigonometry and statistics and probability as well. And so sometimes what people do is when they think about geometry, they think about it as a bit like a roller coaster ride. The first semester is where you're really kind of climbing up the hill and you're entering some of those unknown ideas or some things that you haven't practiced as much. And then on the second semester, it can feel a little bit more traditional, maybe a little bit more straightforward. And so you can kind of coast a little bit more down the hills and enjoy the ride a little bit. But either way, geometry is a fun and different course from start to finish. As far as class structure goes, this is another strength of geometry. There are so many geometric concepts that students can explore quickly and figure out on their own. And so even if you have a very short attention span, there is geometry that you can gather up on your own on a daily basis. And so I like that idea, and I see that as the best form of learning. Having somebody tell you something and you just copying it down onto a piece of paper is not very good learning. And so that won't be our main emphasis. And so what we're going to do is we're going to spend time collaborating, working in small groups, exploring, experimenting, getting some things wrong, and then talking about it and then getting it right. And so that is going to be our very, very best way to learn. This is similar to some of the stuff that we did in Algebra 1. It flows in the same type of way, and we've got the same type of time to think about and experiment and try. I promise you, though, that every lesson will end with the important and critical information very clearly laid out. And so if your student or you are getting concerned that the responsibility and the onus lies strictly on their shoulders and that I won't be involved in the learning process, I want to take that concern and ease it for you. I will make sure that every student has what they need before they leave class in order to be successful in the course and on the assessments. Lastly, homework. There will be time for homework, but most of the time I'm interested in having students work on their homework when they are home. Learning about a topic and then revisiting it outside of class and then maybe revisiting it again inside of class is a much, much better way to make sure that that information is solidified in your brain and that it's not just some fleeting fact. If you learn it on one day and then you never talk about it or think about it again until the day of the checkpoint or the test, then you'll have forgotten. But I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in kind of creating lifelong geometry learners. And so I would like your students to try practicing at least a little bit every night, and I'll provide a little bit of that practice every single day. As far as assessments are concerned, the number one assessment that we are going to have is going to be a checkpoint. That's the same type of technique, an assessment that we had last year as well. And typically what I like to do in a geometry class is I like to have about one checkpoint a week. Sometimes there might be a need for 2 checkpoints a week with snow days or the end of the semester coming up or something like that, where we kind of get crammed. But most of the time, 1 checkpoint a week is going to be best. And I think that that makes for a good flow. As far as grading is concerned, those checkpoints are going to be our major and primary form for how our quarter grades are created. Like I said, I will be giving homework assignments, but those are mainly to help you get ready for checkpoints, and we will not be doing tests. So this is one of the main differences between Algebra and Algebra 2 when you compare it to geometry. I want to make sure that there's plenty of time for learning and debate and discussion and for using tools and working on projects. And I don't necessarily need to focus so much on tests. So we will be taking a break from tests and focusing primarily on checkpoints this year. Checkpoints are very valuable because they can be retaken. They can be retaken during class time on specifically designated retake days, or they can be taken at any day outside of class during lunch or after school. And so that means that your student is very much in control of their grade, and they can work on, change their grade at any point during the year or the semester, I should say. So they can fix things, they can retake them as many times as they'd like. I'd be happy to work on topics with them again and again until they feel comfortable, and then they can retake as well after that. And so there is going to be plenty of opportunities to make the grade look whatever way you want the grade to look. And I'm here to help out with that process. And like I said, one of the ways that I think it really helps out with that process is homework. Make an attempt on that homework assignment. And in order to kind of emphasize that and how the progress is going, I will check homework from time to time, and I'll put a grade in the grade book. But like you can see here on the screen, 100% of the grade is determined by checkpoints. That homework grades are just to show you the progress that is being made, not to calculate a final grade. Lastly, if at any point your students' anxiety levels or frustration levels are creeping up, if they're not feeling very comfortable with how things are going in geometry, there is always opportunities for extra help. I assure you that I will be available after school from 2:30 to 3 o'clock every single day, and I'd be happy to meet with your kids in my classroom or in the academic center. That would be great. If they would like to meet before school, that's fine as well. They can meet before school in the academic center. The academic center has really grown this year, and we've got a lot of really great options available there. One of the most important ones is that there is a new instructor in the academic center. It's Miss Book. And if you happen to be familiar with Miss Book, you know that she is an accomplished and amazing math teacher that's worked at Stony Creek High School for many years. And she's transitioned to this new role as kind of a curricular expert in the academic center. And she happens to be a particularly really amazing geometry teacher. So if any point during the semester or year, if your student needs help with geometry, they can definitely reach out to me or Miss Book in the Academic Center, and that would be great. If at any point you've got a question and you want to talk to me about geometry, there's my email address one more time. We can use that to set up appointments for you or for your student. We can get extra help, or we can just discuss what's happening in geometry class. If your student wants to set up an appointment for some extra help, sending an email would be great. A lot of times those students don't want to do that. And so if they just want to talk to me outside of class, that would be fine. Usually at the end of class after we're done with our lesson is a great time to do that. Thank you so much for stopping by and talking about geometry with me for a little bit. I hope that this has cleared up some stuff for you. And if you have any other questions about the way that geometry is different from your last couple math classes, I'd be happy to answer those. Please reach out at any time. Have a good night. Thank you.